You're sitting alone. There's no text, no call, no post. And yet, something shifts inside you. A sudden pull in your chest, a wave of warmth, followed by a subtle tightening in your stomach. You try to ignore it, but you can't, because a part of you knows what it means. He's thinking about you. You don't need a message to confirm it. You don't need a voice to tell you, because the energy speaks first. And when a connection is real, your body feels it before your mind can explain it. This is not fantasy. It's the language of the unconscious, what Jung called the unseen link between souls. The kind of connection that operates below logic, beyond words, and outside of time. It's the feeling that wakes you at night, the thought that won't leave your mind, the ache that whispers his name when no one is around. And if you've felt this before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You are not crazy for sensing him. You are not imagining the connection. What you feel is energy, and energy doesn't lie. The body keeps score of what the soul remembers. That's why, when he thinks about you, your body reacts. It sends signals you can't ignore, but most women don't know how to read them. They question, they doubt, they suppress, they try to logic their way out of a spiritual message. But the body always knows. So try this, not to chase him, not to get a text, but to tune into the truth already inside you. There's a method. It's simple, but powerful. It begins with stillness. When your mind stops racing, your heart begins speaking. Sit with yourself, close your eyes, ask nothing, expect nothing, simply observe, and then feel, not think, feel. You'll start to notice where the energy lives in your body. Maybe a soft ache in your chest, a flutter in your belly, a sense of someone near, though no one's there. This is not your imagination, it's your intuition, and when it's strong, it often means one thing. Someone's thinking about you, deeply, emotionally, consistently, and you're receiving that signal, whether you understand it or not. Jung believed that our unconscious communicates through images, sensations, and emotions. So when someone thinks of you with intensity, their thoughts are not just thoughts, they're projections. They move outward, carrying emotional charge. And if the connection between you is open, you feel that charge, like radio waves looking for a receiver. And you are that receiver, especially if your soul once touched his, in an intimate or vulnerable way. This is why you can't get him out of your mind at times, why his name surfaces randomly, why you feel him in dreams, in songs, in moments of stillness. It's not a coincidence. It's the unconscious trying to bring something into your awareness. Maybe closure, maybe connection, maybe truth. But it starts with recognizing that it's real. To access this clarity, stop reaching outward. Don't look for signs in the world. Look within, because the answer is not whether he'll message you. It's whether you're open enough to feel what's already happening. The method is not manipulation, it's presence, because presence reveals everything. Here's what happens when you become present. You start feeling emotions that were buried, emotions tied to him, regret, longing, grief, love. Let them surface. They are the doorways to your knowing. If you try to control them, you'll block the message. But if you surrender, you'll hear the truth beneath them. And in that truth, you'll know if he's thinking of you, if he still feels you, if there's a silent bond being kept alive by his thoughts alone. There's a specific moment when you'll feel it most clearly. It usually happens in the quiet of night, when your nervous system relaxes. You're lying in bed, breathing deeply, drifting, and suddenly, his name enters your mind without warning. Not in a dramatic way, just gentle, present, like a feather landing. That's the moment his thoughts reach you. Your chest tightens, your throat tingles, your heart beats just a little faster, and you know, it's him. You might cry, without knowing why, or feel calm when you shouldn't. That's how the soul speaks. It doesn't ask permission, it simply expresses. And your job is not to analyze it, but to honor it. Because when a man thinks about you with real feeling, that energy moves. And when it moves, it finds you. Always. Some people think this is fantasy, but science has started to catch up. Studies on heart coherence, emotional frequency, and non-local consciousness all point to one truth. We are connected in ways we don't fully understand. The heart emits an electromagnetic field, measurable up to several feet away. And when someone thinks of you, that field changes. If you're sensitive, you feel the ripple. Not in your head, in your body. That's why it feels so visceral, so real. Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. That reaction doesn't end when they walk away. It lingers, it echoes, and you carry it, sometimes for years. The danger is not in feeling this. The danger is in denying it. Because when you disconnect from your knowing, you abandon yourself. You begin to second-guess your intuition. You look outside for answers that already live within. And that's how you lose the connection, not just to him, but to yourself. So what do you do when you feel him? Do you text? Do you wait? Do you pray he reaches out? No. You honor the signal. You stay with it. You feel it fully. You sit in the energy and ask one thing. What is this moment trying to show me? Not about him, but about you. Because his thoughts may awaken you, but the wisdom belongs to you alone. And here's what happens when you do that. You start to reclaim your emotional power. You no longer need confirmation. You no longer beg for clarity, because you become the source of your knowing. You recognize that when someone thinks of you with genuine emotion, the energy comes to you, not because you chased it, but because you were open to it. This is what makes a woman powerful. Her ability to feel beyond logic, to sense beyond what is seen, to read the language of emotion without needing proof. And when she trusts this, she becomes magnetic, not because she's trying, but because she's aligned. You don't need to prove he's thinking of you. You only need to feel what your body already knows. That's the method. That's the truth. Try it. There is a deeper way to understand what you feel, and it doesn't begin in the mind. It begins in the body, in the soul, and in the quiet places where your truth lives. That's why I recommend the Jung Method, a guided practice to help you reconnect with that intuitive part of yourself. The link is pinned in the first comment. Now, take a breath and come back to yourself. You felt it last night, or the night before. A pulse that didn't belong to you. A name that entered your mind as you washed the dishes or folded laundry or sat in traffic. His name, again without warning, without invitation. This is where most women start to doubt. They think, why am I still feeling this? He's not here. He's not calling. But the feeling doesn't care about timelines. It doesn't follow logic. It only follows energy. And energy doesn't end just because the relationship did. What you felt was not weakness. It was not obsession. It was sensitivity. And sensitivity, when honored, becomes a superpower. The world may have told you to shut it down, to toughen up, to get over it. But what if you were never meant to numb this part of you? What if this exact ability to feel someone thinking of you is part of your feminine essence? Jung taught that the anima, the feminine archetype within the psyche, is deeply intuitive, emotionally intelligent, and symbolic in nature. She understands the language of dreams, signals, and patterns. She feels what others miss. She connects the dots no one else sees, and she doesn't need a text or a call to validate her knowing. But here's the trap. When that sensitivity becomes confused with codependency, we lose our center. We start waiting for him to act, to confirm, to show up. We shift our power outside of ourselves. That's when the connection turns from sacred to painful. Because instead of trusting our inner truth, we start performing for external signs. This is why your energy matters. It's not just about whether he's thinking of you. It's about whether your energy can hold the connection without collapsing into need. Whether you can feel the signal and still stay grounded. Whether you can sense his thoughts and still choose yourself. Because feeling his energy is not the same as chasing him. Knowing he's thinking of you is not an invitation to break your own boundaries. It's an invitation to witness what your body is trying to show you. So let's return to the method. The first part is stillness. You've already practiced that. You've sat with yourself. You noticed the sensations. You allowed the signal to rise. Now comes the second part, integration. This is where you ask the hard questions, not about him, but about you. Why do I want to know that he's thinking of me? What does it mean to me if he is? What am I hoping to receive? Sometimes the answer is validation. Sometimes it's closure. Sometimes it's the fantasy that he still cares. And sometimes it's because your soul knows there's something unresolved. That something remains open between you two. But here's the secret. Whether or not he reaches out, you can still receive what you truly need. You don't need his words to give yourself peace. You don't need his presence to validate the connection. Because the truth is, when you feel him, it's not about a message. It's about a mirror. He's thinking of you because something inside him is stirred. Maybe regret, maybe longing, maybe recognition. But it's not your job to figure that out. Your job is to see what it stirs in you. Do you still long for him? Do you still need to be chosen? Or is it time to close the energetic loop? Some women feel a man's thoughts as a calling. Others feel it as a haunting. You'll know which one it is by how it sits in your body. If it feels warm, expansive, and clear, it may be a soul signal. If it feels tight, anxious, or heavy, it may be a trauma echo. The body always knows. That's why this method doesn't live in the intellect. It lives in the nervous system. And this is where healing begins. When you stop reacting to the signal and start responding to yourself. So what do you do when he's thinking of you? You breathe. You ground yourself. You whisper, I feel it, and I'm safe. You don't chase the feeling. You welcome it. You don't analyze it. You honor it. You become the observer of your own energy. And in doing that, you regain your power because, let's be honest, how many times have you felt his energy and then doubted it the next morning? How many times have you reached for your phone hoping to see a message, only to feel foolish? That's not intuition failing you. That's programming overriding you. Society teaches women to dismiss their knowing, to second-guess the very thing. That makes them wise. But you're here now, remembering, reclaiming, returning to the truth. You are not crazy. You are connected. And connection doesn't always need permission. Sometimes it just needs space. And when you give it space, something shifts. You start to feel less desperate, less obsessive, more peaceful, more centered, because you're no longer waiting for him. You're listening to you. That's when something beautiful happens. His energy comes again, but it doesn't shake you. It doesn't unground you. It just flows. You feel it, you acknowledge it, and you move on. This is emotional sovereignty. This is feminine mastery. This is what makes you unforgettable. Because when a woman learns to receive energy without losing herself, she becomes magnetic, not for attention, but for truth. So the next time you feel him, smile gently. Say thank you, not to him, but to yourself, for being open enough to feel, for being brave enough to stay, for being wise enough to release. And if you ever forget, come back here, to this practice, to your breath, to your knowing. The method is simple, but profound. Stillness, awareness, integration, release. And in that final step, release, you find your power. You let go of needing anything in return. You stop searching for proof, because you know what you felt, and that's enough. This is how you stop craving closure. This is how you stop needing him to explain. This is how you rise above the noise and remember who you are. A woman who feels deeply, a woman who listens to her body, a woman who trusts her soul. And when she does, she doesn't just feel when he's thinking of her. She knows, because she's no longer the seeker. She's the signal, and that changes everything. Asterisk, he may never say it out loud. He may never send that message. But if he's thinking of you, and your soul is open, you'll feel it. And now, you'll know exactly what to do with that feeling.